Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyana. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. Oh, Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudevasutam devam kansachanuramardhanam devakim paramanandam krishnam vande jagadguru. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. So we will read the 38th Shloka of the Karma Yoga, the third Adhyay of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna is addressing, he's clearing all the doubts from the mind of Arjuna and also from the mind of all the devotees who read the Bhagavad Gita, who try to understand Sri Krishna's teachings in the Bhagavad Gita. And here Arjuna has asked him a question that what is it that makes a person commit sin, although he doesn't want to commit, but as if by force he is dragged into the acts of committing the sin. And what is it? How he does it? How it happens? This is a very an important doubt that has crept up in the mind of Arjuna, and Krishna has started addressing that, clearing that doubt. In the 37th shlok we have read that Krishna told about how the desire and anger born out of Rajoguna, they are the ultimate destroyers. They are the Mahashano. Mahashano is all devouring, all destroying, and Mahapapaha, all sinful the tendencies. This desire and anger born out of Rajogun, they put a man, even if he is not willing for that matter, they force a person to get into these acts which are all destroying, all devouring, and all sinful. Now, these are these two, the desire and anger born of Rajogun, are the greatest enemies of anyone in this world, in this creation. That's what Sri Krishna has cautioned us. Now, further, Sri Krishna elaborates how this desire, which is the evil of all suffering, which is the reason of all suffering, how it just takes over. It just camouflages as if our real knowledge. We are all born, in fact, with the real knowledge of the self. But what happens? This Maya starts playing tricks. The three gunas of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, they are born, they are being the very innate, constituents of the Prakriti. They start affecting the mind, they start affecting our senses and the sense objects. The three gunas in our senses, they start getting attracted towards the three gunas of the sense objects, and all the havoc starts. Krishna has told us earlier how this desire, it just covers up our intelligence, covers up our innate knowledge, and we get into this trap. So Sri Krishna says, dhūmenāvriyate vahnir yathādarśho malena yatholbenāvṛito garbhas tathā tenedam āvṛitam. A beautiful example. How this desire clouds our intelligence, clouds our real understanding, clouds our innate reality. Like dhūmena is by smoke. Āvṛiyate is covered. Now what is covered by smoke? Vahnir, fire. The way the fire is covered with smoke. When we light fire, along with that flame of the fire, there is whole lot of smoke. When we perform Satyanarayana Puja or any other home for that matter, any other ritual, and there is that home we light, and with the fire comes all the smoke. And that fire, that beautiful flame, it gets covered with that smoke. dhūmenāvriyate nihi. And also yatha, like ādarśho malena. Ādarśha is mirror. Darsha is see, one in which we see the things. Ādarśho, the mirror. As the mirror with malena. Malena is dust. As the mirror gets covered with dust, as the flame of the fire gets covered with smoke, as the mirror gets covered with dust, and also yathā ulbena. Ulbena is embryo, tiny little amnion. That embryo is āvṛito garbhas tathā. That is the word. Āvṛita is the word. A tiny little sweet embryo in the mother's womb is covered by womb. And there we see that small little fellow growing, a budding life. As it is covered by the womb. Tathā, in the same way, tenedam āvṛitam. In the same way, that covers this. Tena is that. Idam is this. Āvṛitam. In the same way, it covers this. A beautiful example Sri Krishna has given. Make us understand how this desire plays the obstructing role in our clear understanding and is getting us tempted, getting our senses tempted by the sense objects, and all the havoc starts. That is the start point of our destruction, this desire. Like fire gets covered with the smoke, like the mirror gets covered with the dust, like the embryo is covered by the womb. In the same way, is intellect. By what Sri Krishna means, tenedam āvṛitam. Yes, it. Āvṛitam idam. It covers this. And this Sri Krishna means, in the same way, desire. It covers our real understanding, our real intelligence, our real knowledge about who we are. What is our purpose of taking birth in the human form? That it covers. As fire is enveloped by smoke, as a mirror by dust, as an embryo by the womb, so is this covered by that. resplendent Atman is veiled in desire. This desire, it just puts a veil in front of our understanding of the Atman, who we really are, which is in three grades corresponding to the predominance of the three gunas. Now, while in the previous shloka, Sri Krishna has specifically referred to Rajoguna, the Rajas. Even the other two, Sattva and Tamas, they are no way behind the Rajas in covering our understanding. They are also equally important. But Sri Krishna says Rajas is the main culprit because Rajas puts us in the activity filled with desire. And this desire, also when the desire is not fulfilled, it sprouts anger. And therefore, Rajas is the deadliest of these three, which puts us in the action, which deludes us to such an extent. For that matter, the sattvic desires are not be that bad, but still it is a desire. Tamasic desire, no doubt it will lead to our total destruction, maybe out of inaction also. Because inactivity is a part of tamas. And inactivity is destruction as such. Inactivity not out of knowledge. Inactivity out of tamas is the jadatva, the lethargy. So those kind of lethargic tendencies of tamas, they also bring destruction, but not like rajas. Rajas is the one which puts us into the activity all the time, because and we get attached with that activity because of rajas. With sattva we don't get attached to the activity. Tamas we don't have any the thinking as such. I am doing this activity. A tamasic fellow may not have that kind of, he is a dud. He is gone. But it is the rajas which creates desires, gets us engaged in the activities, and when the desires are not fulfilled, it results in our getting angry, and it makes us absolutely lunatic. And this is what Sri Krishna says. This desire, which is born out of rajas, it just covers our intellect, it just covers our self-knowledge, and that's it. Now, if Swami Chidbhavananda ji has considered the three examples that Sri Krishna has given, the fire covered by smoke, a mirror covered by dust, and the embryo covered by the womb, it has a great significance, these three examples that Sri Krishna has quoted. Swami Chidbhavananda ji says that in the example of fire and smoke, little bit of effort, we can remove the smoke from the fire. We have to just blow. Little blowing will set it ablaze and the smoke will disappear. When we perform homa in our house or in wherever we perform homa, if lot of smoke starts generating, what we do? Just blow air and the fire gets ablaze, smoke goes out, smoke vanishes. It is very easy to remove, separate smoke from the flame. It is comparatively a bit difficult to clear that dust from the mirror. Simply by blowing at the mirror, it won't go. We have to take a cloth, we have to wipe that dust. If the dust is so firmly fixed on that mirror, then possibly we have to wet the cloth and then brush that mirror with that wet cloth rigorously till it becomes clean and we get a perfect reflection of ourselves. So there is some amount of effort involved in it. And the last example Sri Krishna has given, womb and the embryo. As the womb covers the embryo, it is not separated so easily. It takes its own duration depending on the species. If it is a human embryo, it takes around 9 months, 10 months. And then the embryo can be separated from the womb. So these three examples. What how Swami Chidbhavananda has interpreted these examples is blowing at the fire and removing the cloud is like removing the sattvic desires. They can be wiped off very easily. Then the rajasic desires are like the dust on the mirror. It takes some time. It takes some effort. Tamasic desires are like embryo. Because the mind is dull. It will take long time to get rid of those kind of tamasic desires. They may not be as harmful as rajasic ones. So, time and regulated living are the factors for the embryo to develop and be delivered as a baby. So, in all the three cases, desires can be removed. Material which is covering those three things respectively can be removed. And similarly, it may take time, but that covering on our intelligence, on our self-knowledge can also be removed. In fact, Sri Krishna has given us a hope with these particular examples that he has given. And pertaining to the explaining the meaning of this particular shloka, how the Swami has used the teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna says, as a patch of cloud hides the blazing sun, Maya in the form of desire hides Ishvara. A cloud comes in front of sun. Suddenly, the brightness of the sun is reduced. We can't see sun. No sun is there, but we can't see it because it is covered by cloud. That cloud has come in front of sun. We can't see. In the same way, Sri Ramakrishna says that Maya in the form of desire, it hides the Ishvara, it hides our true nature, it hides our true self, which is dwelling inside us. When the cloud disappears, the sun becomes visible. When as the cloud goes, we can see the sun then. And Sri Ramakrishna says, in the same way, when desire disappears, Ishvara reveals himself. So that is the ray of hope for all of us. And that is also the ray of hope that Sri Krishna has told Arjuna. That our mind, our intellect, our self-knowledge is covered by these desires. Just like fire gets covered with the smoke, a mirror gets covered with the dust, and the little worm gets covered, the little embryo gets covered with the worm. So these are the coverings. These are the coverings of the Maya, which one needs to remove to see the real thing inside. And that was indeed a wonderful explanation that Sri Krishna had given to Arjuna, and he has also told us and also given us a hope that it is not all that bad. Yes, these coverings, once gone, then we will see the real thing. So that is our reading for the day. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.